deep into his soul.
Which he feels a little uncomfortable with. He's like...
Right past the glasses, into the eye of the soul.
That's right.
Wherever it is down there.
Callie says, it's been a while since I've been on. Have missed you.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Callie. Mike is on. Mike is on. Let's see who's on
Of course,
YouTube.
Mike's always on.
Yeah, Mike is cool. One of our favorites. Wow, it takes me, look at me.
Yeah, Jannelle's
struggling.
She's not doing
As
what
far
she's
as the glasses, I've had wire rim glasses for 30, 40 years. And just decided it was time to get something different. So, what do you think? Different.
I bet they're more comfortable. The nose pieces on wire rims sometimes can be like problematic.
Nancy says fabulous. Tammy says looking great, Ron.
Thank you.
Pamela says buenos dias. Gary says good morning. Daniel says happy Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got them at Zenny, right?
Right. So they were cheap.
Zenny Optical is, we can say it on this, is awesome. I get my glasses there. I used to get, you get like 2 pairs for $400 or something.
At a regular
glasses store.
Yeah.
This one, I got a new pair of glasses for like $30.
Yeah.
Do you mind saying how much those are?
About 50 or 60.
50 or 60. Yeah, that's nothing. For a pair of glasses with all the films and the coats and the...
Yeah, and a typical frame would cost me $100 or more at my optometrist. So...
I got some real cheap ones there once and they didn't work very well.
Yeah.
The frames were really cheap, but these I got on Zenny. I got these glasses on Zenny Optical.
Gary says, you look younger, Ron. And Tweez.
How could he look younger?
Your aunt's here.
Aunt Tweez here. Hey!
Amy says, looking great. Nathan says, glasses look good, Ron. And Nathan says, Team Kelly.
Woohoo!
Mike says, good to see you back.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Well, nice to see you all again, and I have work to do.
No.
He does actual work, unlike someone else we know.
Whatever.
Her name rhymes with Jannelle.
Oh! Say it to my face.
Her name rhymes with Jannelle.
You ain't scared of
What you gonna do?
I know, right?
We're live on the internet. What you gonna do? Break the law? Like all those people that did that live on the internet in Washington?
Okay, wow. You like getting messages. Wow, dude.
I just don't read them. No, I'm just kidding. I do read them sometimes. Okay, so we got a great text from somebody asking a question that we heard from other people this morning is a legit problem many people are facing.
Yeah. Very sad.
She's facing it. She's got a lot of problems. You know that.
I got all kinds of problems.
Like all the problems, she's got them.
Gosh.
So the person wrote and said this. My best friend and I have a disagreement in regards to voter fraud in the election. We think alike and even vote alike, but because I don't go along with conspiracy theories, it's like I've become part of the enemy. I've tried to give gentle rebuttals to these conspiracies, but it only elicits anger from him. I'm afraid it's becoming almost like a religion, and denying voter fraud is akin to denying Christ. I don't know how to talk to him anymore and don't want to lose a friendship over a conspiracy theory. Any advice? So we established early on that the whole just don't talk about it thing sounds nice, but it's not a practical reality.
Well, in some of these interactions, it's not an option. It is an option in others, in normal situations.
Well, I think for that to be a legit thing, you have to actually say to the person, I'm uncomfortable when we talk about, and I would prefer if we didn't talk about that anymore. Is that okay? What you can't do is just say to yourself, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but don't tell them.
Yeah.
Then it can become a problem. But really, I mean, why not be direct and say, listen, I value our friendship a lot. You and I disagree on this conspiracy theory thing, but you're more important to me than that.
Yeah.
Can we just not do that anymore? See what they say. But odds are, a lot of people are experiencing with that. That's not enough.
We've gotten a lot of texts, even during the conversation, and even in the last few weeks during Dr. Rydelnik's time and other times from you struggling with the same thing. So how have you navigated it? Sharon says, I'm looking good. Gary says, Jannelle doesn't recognize Brian's beard. You're not going to correct me? Beard trimming or haircuts or Ron's glasses. Possibly Jannelle needs glasses. Oh.
Yeah. Jannelle lives in this fantasy land where she's got this cough she's got. And I keep telling her, you got to take some antihistamines. It's going to be allergies.
Oh my gosh.
But she insists
back to that conversation.
in this
I don't have
weird thing where she goes, I don't have allergies.
I'm
She's never had any
Dominican. I'm
doctor
Dominican.
verify this. She's never had a test to say whether she does or not. She'll say in defense when I dig deeper, Dominicans don't have allergies, which is objectively not a true thing. So
You don't know. Do you
sometimes
know
I gotta deal with
Dominicans?
this.
You don't even hang with Dominicans.
If she needs glasses,
You
Gary,
got one Dominican you hang with, and she doesn't have allergies.
she has no verification whether she does or not. I've had an allergy test, you know. Scratch test. I've had that.
Okay.
They're terrible.
They're terrible. I've had
Yeah,
them.
they are terrible. My kids have had it.
She hasn't though.
My kids have allergies, 2 of them, but it's because they're
Must be
related.
from their dad.
They're related to their dad.
Yep.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Deborah says, when 2 people are mature, there should be an understanding that differences will occur. Sometimes they will have to agree to disagree and then leave it at that. Heather says, could be a food allergy too. I'm not allergic, Heather. Adrian says,
But this is like the conspiracy friendship thing. It's like you got a friend who won't drop it
allergic to what?
and lives in some fantasy land.
I have a cold that doesn't go away. See? Adrian says, why can't we both have our thoughts on it and agree to disagree and move on with life and not let it separate a friendship? It's not worth a true friendship. Friends don't have to agree on everything. It's become a thing recently, though, and I don't get it. Even worse than some, and since you say spicy stuff, even worse than some cults. Like, there are people that can be in cults and be good that you're not. It's like real hot and
No, but
combative.
generally speaking though, what's the cult experience? Somebody gets sucked into a fringe idea and it becomes as part of the cult and us versus them. And so what happens is they get sucked into this cult and it turns out everyone who's not in the cult is
That
really
is
out
true.
to get them.
That is true.
And so people in the cult isolate and they wreck their other friendships. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I agree with this particular person that the conspiracy theory garbage that our country is experiencing is, if not already, very close to a cult.
Yes.
That is destroying people because that's what cults do.
That's what they do.
But in this case, I wonder, were they really that great of friends? It's a tough thing to ask. But if this person values conspiracy theories more than you, maybe they're not your friend.
Well, are some people just susceptible to that? Like, you can get caught up and it could pull you. Because we're seeing it in relationships, in family members. So they could have valued you and just got caught up.
True.
Like, it may not be about you, you know?
But obviously, if they're choosing conspiracy theories over a friendship, they value
Yeah.
that more, right?
Yeah.
So is it accepting the hard reality that you're just not that good of friends?
Angie
That he's
agrees.
just not that into you?
Angie says that was my question too, Brian. Daniel says, I agree, Brian. My wife and I were wondering the same thing. Daniel
And
says...
that's hard to admit, right? You know, the imbalanced friendship. Have you ever been there? Where you clearly are more
I'm
invested
giving
in the
more.
person than they are in you, and if you wouldn't put in the effort, the friendship would probably just disappear.
Yeah,
And those are, a lot of times we live in denial about that.
yeah.
And we just grasp at straws to see them trying.
That's so true. And moments like this will show you. Daniel says, I assume that the conspiracy theorist says something like, if you really care about this country, you would believe this information. And that the theorist cannot be friends with someone who is a traitor to the country.
That's exactly right.
So,
Daniel.
okay, so if that's what they believe, then it's not, I never really loved you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's what they believe of, yo, we got to love our country.
But they've
the way
placed
they
you now in a
frame
category of traitor. They've taken you from friend and into traitor.
So the way they frame it could change what before was a priority to them, which was you.
Yeah.
So they may have loved you. And the way this is being
I
played
see
out,
what you're saying.
you know, it's...
You're so sweet. What you're trying to say
I
is
know.
that, no, it's good. Because I think that's it could be true. That they did care about you deeply, but they don't anymore. Because if they did care about you, and let's just presume as part of this they're a follower of Christ. And they know the scripture, so they know what the Bible says about genuinely loving one another, Christians, unity, like all that stuff about how to treat each other as believers. Then, I mean, you know.
But if you believe that if you don't believe it, you don't love the country, if you don't believe it, there's some Christian narratives that I'm hearing in that too. Like, then you're okay with XYZ. Do you see how that can make you say, I'm not picking you anymore, I'm picking this because this is a big deal. You know?
But they're majoring in the minors. They're picking big deals that are not
Yeah.
God's big deals.
Yeah.
What for Christians, what's the big deal? It's the sacrificial atonement of Christ and God's grace through Christ in our lives today, and his admonition for us to make disciples and live with one another peaceably, and love each other genuinely.
And even with that, because you said what's worth fighting about, even with that, the Lord doesn't call us to to pull away from friends. I can be friends with someone that doesn't pick Jesus. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I think you can be friends with like a non-Christian person.
Yeah.
You should be. That's how you develop relationships
Yeah.
and such. But now we're in weird territory, right? When you've got a fellow believer who is sinning against you and hurting you, and you've talked to them and they won't change.
Yeah.
Doesn't Matthew 18 indicate you just kind of,
Yeah.
at some point, love them but release them?
Especially now that you're saying that in terms of you releasing versus you waiting for them to release you. Especially when it gets into what Dr. Stetzer last week was talking about. There's slander and there's gossip. Because when you see that, whether it's on social media, your friends doing that, or within the church, or, when they keep sharing the narrative and slandering people, and then it sounds like what you're saying is we should lead the way and say, no, the Bible actually does call me. Like maybe the words we used this morning is just give it a break, and you don't have to wait until they
It's
let
not
you go.
you, it's me. I
Yeah.
think we need a break.
That's tough, man.
You ever heard that as a kid? You probably did. think
I
we need a
gave
break.
it to. I tried to do that with.
But you
Lenny.
never
He was
got
like,
it?
No.
You never got it?
Please.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
It sounds like you did.
Of course I did. Me?
But you're a guy. You guys are supposed to listen. That happens to guys. Heather says, yeah, Jannelle, what is it with that? Why is it there's so much divide? We're not all alike or going to think the same. Cutting people off simply because of a disagreement. Why is it so severe now? That's what I don't get it. It's now more than ever.
Because
What
people,
happened to
Christian
this-
people, have lifted politics to the level of idolatry. If they're willing to let it decimate their friendships, they're worshiping their politics, not Jesus.
And like she said, we are making the other side evil or the bad guys, any side. We're not just saying, like I had a conversation with somebody close to me yesterday, and I was talking about politicians and saying, these are clearly people I disagree with. And I was giving them credit. I was like, yo, they did such and such. And they couldn't handle it. And I was like, yo, we have to be willing. Like, nobody's all evil or all good. Like, we got to be willing to humanize people and be okay with saying, this person's tripping, but they do this well, they do this well. I think we need to exercise that a little
That's
bit
just
more.
nuance. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Both Ed Stetzer and Russell Moore said that on the show, that we need to be able, as Christians, to be able to look at politics and go, you got this politician. These things they're doing, praiseworthy.
Yes.
These things, not praiseworthy.
Yeah.
And when you create a scenario where someone is only in the unpraiseworthy category, I think you are worshiping somebody else.
Yeah. Charles says, Jannelle is always the it's not me. It's not, what is it? It's me, not you person.
Yeah, she was always breaking guys' hearts. I bet,
You
right?
always getting on me.
Were you breaking
Charles.
hearts? Is that what you were
Oh
doing?
my gosh. Kathy says, I sometimes need a timeout if I start getting angry. It takes a lot for me to get angry.
Yeah.
Are you like that?
definitely.
Have you had to do that? Like, do you get caught? You're very passionate.
Yeah. I need to be reminded, either by the Lord or by a friend, that I'm making something else other than them a priority. You did it to me. Remember?
Yeah. And we can all do that. We can all do
They're
that.
going to want to hear this, though, if they missed it. This is the one where we were talking about a controversial issue off air, and I was getting super heated. And she looked at me and she said, listen, Brian, I got to go, and you're being a jerk. I'll see you tomorrow. And she left. And that snapped me out of it. The
And
problem
he
would have
called?
been... Yeah.
No, texted first. And now I was busy. I didn't get to the text. And then he called. And your apology was a model to me. You didn't make excuses. You were like, yo, I was wrong. And I like that. Like being in a relationship where you can disagree, you can get heated. There could be apologies. Like being flexible. We're looking at an article that we haven't talked about yet. It's the one thing about marriage. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
don't give it away, but yeah, we're going to have to get
That's
to
what
that.
I'm saying.
There's
We need
one
that
quality.
in friendship. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost being malleable. Like, be good. It could get heated. I've had that with Marcella. We disagree.
Her best
She
friend.
had my best friend. She's been friends with me since I was 15 years old. To this day,
That's
best
a
friends.
long time ago.
And we disagree religiously, big time. And we agree to disagree. And then when stuff comes up, there have been times where it gets like, and then one of us, it always takes just one. We'll kind of laugh and be like, what are we doing? Oh my gosh. And then we'll just laugh and say, man, were the kids tripping? Or
Because you
we gotta
value
be
your
flexible.
neighbor over the issue. If it's not about the deity of Christ or the substitutionary atonement of Christ, you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I think God
Yeah.
gave me a choice through your rebuke that one time. Brian, what do you care about more? Being right in this debate or your friend Jannelle?
Yeah.
And this debate is not salvific or really all that important.
Yeah.
I care about Jannelle.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of people not making that choice.
Nathan says, I'm too passive. I don't like to argue with others. Then again, being passive, I've let people take advantage over me. Kelly says, I also got smacked down for trying to point out positives about a politician I don't agree with. Sometimes you just got to give up.
Yeah, isn't that amazing, Kelly, that as Christians, we can praise things that are praiseworthy and we can call out things that are not. And I can't think of a politician other than benevolent dictators who murdered millions of people. Like, I can't think of an American politician that we can't just go like, well, they did this.
Yeah,
Give
and
them
be
both credit for that.
okay. And still say, but I still disagree. And even if, Kelly, if you got smacked down, I think you never know who's listening. It is still worth for us as believers to model that. We're very quick to talk about the people we disagree with. Let people see you recognize positives in those politicians or whatever. I think we need to bring that back in the church.
Amen.
Alrighty. Steven, what's up? Charles, what's up? I don't have time to fight about politics that don't fight for me. Politicians, it does not affect me. That's a good point. That is a good point. I saw a meme about that, about a politician and people saying, yo, he is not the one that's going to bring you meals when you're sick. He's not the one that's going to go get your babies when you're running late. Because we'll do that with neighbors. We'll cut neighbors because of politicians or family. And those are the ones that are there for you. Like your everyday life continues and those people don't even know you. That's a good reminder, Charles, even though you get on me. Daniel says, and we got to go, I enjoy intellectual sparring. That's you, Brian. But many people can't stop once they get started. So I can see how it could be tough. Tiring and not worth it. That is true.
I get it, Daniel. I'm with you on that. Meanwhile, then there's Jannelle who will say things to me like, I don't have allergies. And I'll go, have you ever been tested? No.
I don't.
And then she'll say, Dominicans don't have allergies.
That's right.
Daniel, how do I debate with that?
I'm just playing when I say that. Jeanette developed an allergy, one of my sisters. So I get it.
So you might actually need to take some allergy meds to get rid of your cough.
That's never been a thing, though. I'm like, allergy
Look at this. Daniel,
I'm
how am I supposed to do this?
That doesn't feel like allergies.
Post-nasal drip from allergies.
So when do you know to take NyQuil versus allergy medicine? Or Halls?
You do an experiment. It's really, really crazy. One day you take NyQuil. And Halls is not a medicine. It's just like an
Halls
analgesic.
It helps me stop coughing. So I'm like, oh, maybe.
It's a cough drop. But it's
because I'm going to try it today and I'm going to tell you what happens.
And another day, if you're coughing, you take an antihistamine.
Yeah.
And then if that one doesn't work, you try a different one.
There you go.
So that's like Claritin? You know what it is? When I think of allergies, I see my kids, that's messed up. Like in Lent, springtime, they can't breathe. They're all like sneezing. I don't do none of that. I'm just coughing a little bit. So to take Claritin, I'm like, I'm not sneezing.
Yeah.
Just give up. Let Jannelle do her thing. Thank you, Nathan. Brian, my Dominican husband is allergic to wheat. Wow.
Whoa! And look at chronic cough.
I do not have chronic cough. Calm
Look at that.
down.
Now, officially, Heather, she can never say again. She would say to me, Brian, Dominicans don't have allergies.
I was just joking. I told
Dominicans
you
don't
about
have allergies, Brian. And I'd be like, that is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
I told you about my sister. I was just playing.
No, she wasn't.
It's so
now
easy.
she's lying because she got caught.
I told you about Jeanette. I just like getting you going.
Look at Brittany. Brian, the pharmacist. Yeah, you got to try Allegra. You got to try Benadryl. You got
I
to
don't
try
like
Claritin.
the idea of playing with medicine. To ingest.
Playing with medicine?
Like just for me to take Claritin because I'm like, oh, it might be
you're
an
crunchy.
allergy. That's
So you're crunchy.
But I would rather take Claritin than do allergy shots again. Those
Oh,
are
allergy shots. No, that's crazy.
Like, what's going to hurt you if you take a Benadryl?
Okay, I'll
What's
try.
gonna hurt you
I'll
if you take a
try
Did I
Claritin?
get a good nap?
Wow.
I take
Hey,
Benadryl.
Tina on YouTube. What's up? Okay. I'm going to take Claritin today. Or what's the other one? Benadryl? Do adults take Benadryl? Benadryl? You know, all I know about Benadryl, you give it to kids so they go to sleep. Isn't that what people say they do?
Benadryl serves multiple functions. It's like a wonder drug. So Benadryl, it's hydra. I forget the name of it, but it's a sleep aid. It's an antihistamine, and it's a motion sickness medication.
Oh, it is? I get that in the car.
It's all three.
Oh,
So you have to be
man.
careful when you get a motion sick medication that it's not actually Benadryl because it'll make you sleepy. Benadryl makes you sleepy. Claritin, Allegra. Yeah, I'm acting like a pharmacist.
Daniel,
allergies.
look at Daniel. He goes, that's also literally what doctors do. Here, take this. If it doesn't get better, come back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like if it wasn't safe to take an over-the-counter med, they wouldn't have it just on the shelf.
Over the counter. So
You're
I'm gonna
crunchy.
do
That's your thing. You're
No.
making your own yogurt.
that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
You're
take
probably making your own deodorant.
it. No.
No wonder it stinks
I
in
do
here.
tell. Oh my gosh. That's what happens when you let Brian talk too long. Wow. Okay.
You're crunchy, aren't you?
You're
Oh,
crunchy.
Not all like that. I'm gonna take it and then I'll report tomorrow.
No,
if
she's
the
not.
cough stops.
Remember when she said she's going to take her daughter to go get her bra? Remember that?
I did.
It took all of us threatening her for like a week before she actually did it.
All right, I'm gonna try it.
No, you're
Bye,
not.
Sue, Deborah, Daniel, Nathan, Heather, Brittany, a lot of new names. Daniel, Annette.
Dominicans don't
I
have
see you,
allergies.
Annette.
Heather totally blew your argument. Her Dominican husband has a dry cough from allergies.
Guys, it takes more than a day for Zyrtec or Claritin. It sure does. Benadryl isn't for daily. So see, what am I gonna do?
Well, it's Team Brian. She knows what she's talking about. You have to talk to the pharmacist, Jannelle.
Okay, I'll check. All right.